Okay, so you finally meet this girl and you're trying to secure a date with her. And you're texting her, she's giving you back a little flair. And what starts to happen is maybe she starts suggesting where to go on the date. Like she's like, oh, let's go to this restaurant. Let's go to this park. Let's do this activity. Let's do this experience. And deep down inside of you, you're like, I don't know, something feels a little off. And then it starts to get to the point where, she starts to flake on you and you're like, what's going on? There's a high chance she might have this mentality. Never argue or compete with a woman, and don't do it, especially if she thinks that she is the prize. Now, this might be a controversial video. Like I said, I'm not coming at girls, but I'm talking to you, bro, so you can raise that value of yours, raise your self-image so you know how to spot these girls and how to run away from them. So without further ado, let's hop into the content. Alrighty, let's go ahead and let's get started. My name is DeAndre Saxon, back for another video, and this is the channel for men who want to become the James Bond of their life. I'm talking about becoming a superior man. I've been, for many of you guys know, I studied under Bob Proctor, who was my mentor for 2.5 years. And I built a 7-figure coaching business at the age of 25 years old. And now at the age of 26, I'm transitioning into something different. I've dated hundreds upon hundreds of girls. And I feel like there was a problem that I was seeing in my life. And now I've been learning through them, experiencing them. And now I share them here on this channel. So this channel is for men that are actually coming into money now. They're living in a major city like Miami, New York. And they're starting to date higher quality girls. They might be going on more expensive dates. They want to improve their friends group, start hanging out with friends that are at and above their level. They want to start having their charisma enter their room before their wallet ever does. I'm talking about being the James Bond of their life. So if that's the man that you want to become, make sure you hit that like button because we can get this video out to more people, and subscribe. That way the content that's coming out, you can observe it, download it, and take it into action so you can see improvements in your dating life, your friends' relationships, your wealth, and the overall way you feel and look about yourself. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Never argue with a woman, but most importantly, never argue or compete with a woman that thinks that she is the prize. Now, this could be controversial, but like I said, I'm not here to compete or compare. What I'm talking about is to bring value to you, bro. And here's what we want to talk about. I want to talk about a story really quickly. So right now I'm in Medellin, Colombia. I just got here about a week ago or so. And I was seeing this girl that I met about a year ago, and we were talking back and forth. Very attractive girl. And to be honest, she was doing a lot better financially than a lot of the women here. She was a surgeon. She graduated from college. She had her own car, which is kind of rare out here for a girl to have her own car. So she had her own car, she had her own apartment, and she made her own money. And with that, like, I was attracted to her from that standpoint, that she had her ish together. But what I started noticing over the year was she would text me, a couple times a month, because obviously I live in Miami. So she would text me a couple times a month. And I noticed that she was very combative. Right. She would be the one texting me, or maybe I would text her back. And anytime I suggested something, it was never good enough. She always wanted something to be done her way. Now, these were red flags that I should have seen long before. But like I said, I'm learning. I'm not some dating coach at the top. First of all, I'm not even a dating coach. But I'm not some guy at the top telling you advice. I'm a guy that's documenting my journey so that you can do the same as you start to hit your 6- and 7-figure level in your business, and you start getting out there in the dating world. So I should have seen these red flags. And short story short, I went to a concert this past weekend, and some stuff started happening. She ended up coming really late. She was late like 2 hours, but I had purchased her ticket. We ended up having a good time. And then like halfway through, I ended up losing her in the crowd, and I never see her for like the rest of the concert, right? It was like a 6-hour concert. So I lose her for like 4 hours, and I already knew what was going on because I had previously seen her texting other people there. And so after some time later that night, she's like, oh, my phone was dead, which I knew it wasn't. But what I started to notice was afterwards, I tried to almost like compete or impress upon her why I thought that was wrong, right? Because I was like, hey, I purchased your ticket. You should have been with me. I'm not trying to control you. You can do whatever you want, but come back to that, if you know what I mean. And what started happening was she started combating. And this is where I started to notice certain things. And I knew this consciously, but I wanted to test out some concepts that I was thinking on her to see if this was very true. So here was some of the things and red flags that I started to see was that when I was talking to this girl. is when I found out about this girl, there's many girls like this. I found out that she thought that she was the prize in the relationship. Kind of think of it like a Disney movie, right? You have like Beauty and the Beast. You have some prince and some princess in a castle, and the prince has to do all this extra work to try to win her over. You see, that was her mentality. And so what was happening is she was used to men, and we talked about that on other videos, men going out there and giving all their resources and doing everything for her to try to make her happy. And what I teach on this channel is the opposite. You see, bro, you are the prize. As a man, you are the prize, especially if you're consider yourself a high value man, a man that's earning 6 to 7 figures. You're in the gym. You have a purpose. You have a passion. You have activities. You have a friends group. You're out there in a major city and you're making moves. You're creating content, right? You're doing something massive. You ate shit, right? You missed sales calls. You worked on yourself. Maybe because you didn't get handed anything as a man. And so now you've worked on yourself and you started building some success. Maybe you're at the top of the success, or maybe you're on your way or right in the middle. You see, as a man, you are the prize. And what will happen is when you find these kind of girls that think that they're the prize, there's going to be a mishap. Or most importantly, I want you to raise your self-image, not to degrade girls. I'm talking about you as a bro. You want to raise your value and raise your standards. Because what will happen is a girl like this in this example has this princess mentality, which is nothing wrong with it. She can have. And I told her, like, I'm not angry at you. This is just how you think, and it's not going to work out for us. And after that, she was like chasing me and texting me and calling me like, I want to see you, I want to see you. But I already knew I didn't want to deal with that kind of mindset. Nothing wrong with it. But what I want to do is I want to build men in a different category, saying that you are the prize. And why? Because of all the stuff I mentioned, you worked on yourself. So whenever you find a girl that's at this level, right, or thinks that she's the prize, she will never submit to you. That's number one. She will never submit to you and fully go into that feminine energy. Because so first off, the girl that thinks like this has a very strong masculine energy. So as a masculine energy, men typically have a stronger ego. And so men on a basic sense are typically showing off their resources, right? The money that they have, the resources, their friends group, their status, right? So men will typically try to attract women with these kind of things. And so when a girl that thinks that she's the prize, typically she has something going on that boosts her ego. It could be real or it could be fake. That's not my job to judge whether it's real or fake. My job is just to tell you the mentality behind it. So like this girl, being that she was a surgeon making more money than almost any girl I have ever met here in Colombia in the 3 years that I've lived here. And by the way, this still works in the States. I live in Miami. I'm just talking about this particular girl here in Medellin, Colombia. So typically these girls have a stronger ego because of the success that they have achieved. And in that state, they start to think that they're the prize, which is totally fine. But it becomes combative to a very strong masculine man who thinks that he's the prize. Okay. And so this girl will never be fully submissive to you because that she thinks that you have to do something to her to impress her, to keep her. And see, that kind of mentality goes against, that's okay, like I said, for other guys, but for the men that I'm talking to in this particular category, these are guys that consider themselves the James Bond. Would you think James Bond would ever chase a girl? No, he's poison, calm, and collect in his own body, in his own mentality. And what he does is he attracts the people, situations, circumstances, and quality women to him. And then he chooses in his poison, calm state how he would like to respond instead of react. And in that case, if you start to give to a girl that thinks that she's the prize, you are now in a reactive state instead of being in a responsive state that says, thinking with your mind here instead of the mind here, if you know what I'm talking about. So that's the first thing, is she'll never be fully submissive to you because she thinks that you're the prize. And as a guy, man, at the end of the day, you're working on yourself, you're running your business, you have bad days, you have good days. But when you have a bad day or a tough day, do you want to come home to a girl that's fighting you, arguing with you, and you have to win her over every single night? No. In the Bible, it just read earlier, don't quote me, but it says something about, it's better to live in a corner of a roof than to live in a house with a quarrelsome wife, right? Or a girl that's you're always having to do this put out energy of trying to win her over because she thinks she's the prize. We don't want to live like that. When we come home, because you're on your purpose, you're grinding, you're doing your shit, you're creating content, you want to come home to a feminine woman that's nurturing, that's supportive, that's feminine, that's accommodating, that does that little small thing for you to make you feel like a strong man, and you can actually unwind around her rather than having to compete or try to impress her when you get home. Does this make sense? Number two is that you are the prize. Bro, I want you to, and this is why I created this channel. You are the prize, bro. You see, you know why? Because women hold the key to sex. Women hold the key to sex. She will decide who she has sex with. But what I want to do is I want to raise the awareness of the men that watch my channel that says, you know what? But men hold the key to relationships, to a strong family, and to children, strong children. Why is that? Who's the one that proposes when we get married? Right? The man does. The man holds the key to the relationship, and he also holds the key to a strong family and children. You know, I don't want to give out random numbers, but it was something over. I know over 50%. Did you know that if you were to survey most of the people that are in jail right now, incarcerated, I think it was close to 70% of them came from single mother households. Nothing say there's wrong with the single moms, but what I'm saying here is without a strong father figure, without strong masculine guidance energy, children will not be able to have a strong sense of character, respect. And so what happens is you are actually the key as a man, especially if you're a high value James Bond type man moving around your city and you're working, you're developing yourself, right? Because the world tests you. As a man, the world is testing you. You were given nothing. You were sleeping in cars. You had to do sales calls. You're busting your ass at your job or to build a high income skill, right? You weren't BSing and partying, and now you're earning your first 6 and 7 figures in life. And now you become the prize. You see, you had to work for your value. Well, inherently, girls don't. They're born with their value. They're born with beauty. And what will happen is these girls that start to see them as a prize, like I said, nothing wrong with it, but it's distorted. I believe it's distorted because why they think they're the prize is either one, because of their egotistical success around them, right? Nothing wrong with the ego. It's nice, right? Keeps us human, separates us from the spiritual world, but it's an egotistical, which is a masculine energy, or they have a lot of fake attention. And this goes into point number 3. The girls that typically think that they're the prize are girls that have a lot of free attention from men. Right? It could be they have a lot of Instagram followers. They're very attractive, and they try to get a lot of free attention, whether it's doing like sexual stuff like OnlyFans, or they're sexualizing themselves on Instagram or whatever it is. You see, these girls are used to getting so much attention. Well, I'll make another video about traits to run away from, and that's a trait that you should definitely run away from a girl that's always seeking outside validation. Women need validation. If they're not getting it from a father or a father figure or a brother type, they're going to get it from outside men. And here's the problem with this is that it starts to boost up the ego with false pretenses. Because the attention that these girls are getting is not actually real attention. It's straight physical lust attention from men that want to go out there and have a one-night stand with her and have their way with her. So what happens is, and a lot of the time she doesn't accept that, but she still accepts the fact of these orbiters or this attention coming to her that boosts up her ego. And so what happens is if you start to meet this girl, one, she'll have this inflated ego that, you got to impress me because I have 500 guys in my DMs today. And so you don't want to compete with that energy. And secondly, is that a girl that you'd really want to represent and build your children one day? That's a whole other subject, but not to say anything's wrong with these girls. But I'm raising you, man, to start to think, not with this, but with this. And so social media has really altered the ego state of the girls, where they start to see themselves as the prize because of all the free attention. But let me tell you this, there is quality of attention. There's quality of attention. You know, me building a 7-figure business, I learned that over the last couple of years, that there's different kinds of attention, right? There was attention where, let's just say an Instagram story. Let's just say I post on Instagram and I get, people watching a certain, story of mine, and I get 1,000 people watching my story. You see, that's less quality attention than say 1,000 people watching my YouTube video. You see, because people that were watching my YouTube video, they searched for me. They were looking for me with intent, and they were most likely to stay longer versus somebody that was just tapping through my Instagram story. So those 1,000 views are not the same quality. You see, this is what it comes down to with these girls that are dealing in this category, right? Is that the social media gives them attention, but it's not quality attention. And quite honestly, it's not the quality attention that's really fulfilling them, which is why they always need validation for more and more. Don't fall into that category. So guys, to bring this in for a wrap, never argue with the girl, number one, but never argue with the girl that thinks that she's the prize. She can think that way. I'm not here to say that she can or can't do whatever she wants. That's her choice. But as you as a man, as a James Bond moving in your life, as a Jamie Foxx type, a Leonardo DiCaprio type, right? you're never going to chase a girl. You are working on yourself. You're in the gym. You stay poised. And when you find a girl that you like, make her qualify to you. Make sure that she meets your standards. Make sure that you have the standards in place. That way you can say no to a girl, which is one of the most powerful things that you can do, because most women are not used to being told no. They're used to guys giving them everything. And when you become a guy that says no to a girl because she doesn't meet one of the quality of personality standards that you have, you, one, become instantly more attractive to her. And number two, the universe will start to bring girls that are actually meet the standards that you want, whatever standards that you have. So don't compete with the girl that thinks that she's the prize. You are the prize, bro. You've raised that value. Keep working on yourself. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. That way we can get this message out and we can build a kingdom of young, strong men. Not to compete with girls, not to be little girls, but to become strong men, poised in our state, so that we can raise the value of all around us. Not only in our personal relationships when it comes to women and friends, but how you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror. Brother, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.